Hello and welcome to Miss Valley Entertainment News. My name is Dread. I sometimes hate the stuff I have to cover. I'll be honest with you. I sometimes hate having to cover some of these things, but I see them and I feel a need to share them. As a warning, as an eye opener, as a large flashing caution road sign to some of you out there. Some of you are going to be fine with this. I suspect it'll be the minority will be fine with this. Some of you are going to be angered, triggered, upset, throw your hands in the air, walk out. I don't blame you. This is um frustration beyond frustration. You ever heard about how you never change anything by continuing to make the same failure over and over again? You have to actually change. Um Disney. Let's talk about Disney because Disney, I want to say, is doing it again, but let's be honest, Disney is still doing it. Disney will say, "Oh, we're making changes. We're going to do things differently. We're going to listen to the fans," and then they don't. They continue on the path that apparently Disney has set for themselves, and it's been going on for years, and it's sad because it's taken some things like the Star Wars franchise that's very beloved by many, and it's completely just turning it into rubbish. And there's many good parts of Star Wars still, but you have to kind of pick through the crap to get there. So my warning is kind of goes like this. When I see somebody feeding you mashed potatoes by the spoonful that they've put rat poison in, it's important to get the message out. Hello, there's rat poison in this. So let's take a look at this. This is a video. Again, I will link the original video down below if you want to watch it. Where it's a 28-minute, 39-second video. We're not listening to the whole entire video. That would be too much. So if you want to check out the link down below, go ahead. And if you do, stop by, give them a subscribe, a like, follow, a comment about how Dread from Miss Valley Entertainment News sent you over, all that good stuff. This is from Clownfish TV, and it's called Star Wars Director Wants to, quote, make men uncomfortable. And I've already watched parts of this, at least the part I want to share with you, and let me tell you, it makes me uncomfortable. It makes me squirm what Disney is doing. It is sad, and let's just hop into it, and I'll make some comments along the way, and we'll listen together.
So I saw. Okay, everybody's talking about this. There's the new director. It was how do you say her name? It's Charmine Obey de Chinoy. I don't know.
I think, yeah.
Don't squeeze her. She sounds like Charmin. Anyway, so Charmine is out here talking about how she's the first female director of a Star Wars film, which is kind of funny because we're going to talk about that in a minute. But
just pushing a false narrative, by the way.
A dude, by the way. The next Star Wars film has already become controversial for the most absurd reason. Now, these are the people who get their panties in a twist every time you bring up the original trilogy or anything like that, or Luke Skywalker. We were all mad because you're mad because it's directed by a woman.
Ooh. Yeah, they're like, look, I'm beginning to think that how they're playing the game.
By the way, let me put this out there. There are plenty of great women directors out there. And first of all, a lot of what guys refer to as chick flicks, okay? Maybe stuff that's drama, maybe stuff that's, got a lot of emotional content to it. Things that typically guys don't rush towards, so we call them chick flicks. I mean, it's not meant to be derogatory. It's just kind of what it is. A lot of chick flicks would never get made with men helming them. There are some, but it just those kind of movies that are more geared towards the women audience, for sure, women directors, for sure. Okay, they're the ones who do a much better job at that than men. That's just life for the most part. But there are also plenty of women directors who do a good job and more down the middle, so appealing to both sexes or either sexes or any sex you want to say you are kind of people, right? And there's also plenty of female directors who do well at like action and gross out comedies and all the weird stuff that applies to, that appeals to men as well. And that's not all that appeals to men, but rom-coms. There's women directors who are good at television. There's women directors who are good at commercials and advertisements and things. There are women directors who are great at all different aspects of movies and genres of films, documentaries, of comedies, of rom-coms, of, like I say, gross out comedies, of dramas, of period pieces, of war movies, of westerns, of action movies. Like, women can be great directors at anything. Okay, no one's sitting here saying a woman shouldn't be allowed to be in charge of Star Wars. That's ridiculous. I think Bryce Dallas Howard and Deborah Chow, as two examples, have done well. Have they done the best of anyone? I'm not saying that, but I think they've done well, and I think they're also, as all directors and all people are, they learn as they go. They still have more learning to do, just as all directors do. But I think they've done well. Now, I think the interference from above them has created issues with their product at times. Let's move on, though. No one's saying like a woman can't be in charge of Star Wars or a woman can't be a good director. That's a very false, stupid narrative that very, very few people would actually say. And the people that say that are idiots. So there's not many of them, realistically.
Games, since they're all desperate for clicks, is that they are deliberately going out of their way to attack fans because they know they'll get clicks. They know people like us will make videos about it, and a click is a click. It doesn't matter if it's a hate click or they're clicking because they like you.
Yep.
These sites are living on hate clicks now. But
I mean, it's hard even in in social media, on YouTube or whatever, not to put out a thumbnail or a headline that is clickbait. It's difficult not to, because we all know it works. It's difficult sometimes to go with the safer, more generic thumbnail or headline, knowing you're going to get fewer views because of it. So yes, clickbait is definitely out there on the internet. Believe me, it is.
Yeah, pretty much. But then, you're like, what's the controversy? People are mad because she said that, her new movie has said that she's disregarding female Star Wars workers in the past, which sounds like that's really oddly worded. And that she's the first woman of color, and they're mad about that. And they're being taken out of context. Actually, no. We're going to look at that here. What's this guy's name?
So what's this Lewis dude here say on this article? It says, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, excuse me, the director of Star Wars New Jedi Order, is that the official title now? Has raised criticisms that she is disregarding past female workers in the Star Wars franchise. Obaid-Chinoy's comments instead refer to her as the first woman of color to direct a Star Wars feature film, meaning the criticism against her are entirely ridiculous as they are taken out of context. Well, as we'll see later, if this is true, and her comments actually referred to being the first woman of color to direct a Star Wars feature film, she'd be wrong, because she's not the first. But as we'll also see, her comments don't refer to her being a woman of color. They refer to her being the first female. And Obaid-Chinoy's qualifications and past experience, including directing the best, most emotional episode of Marvel Studios' Ms. Marvel. That seems very subjective and not objective. That the best to this writer? Is that what this writer finds the most emotional one? Make her an excellent choice to helm Star Wars New Jedi Order. Again, putting your opinion in. It makes her an excellent choice. That's an opinion. This is a fluff piece already, because it's a whole lot of opinion and misdirection and some lies in this article. I want to point that out. And anybody actually watch Ms. Marvel? I don't know anybody who watched Ms. Marvel. Wouldn't touch it with a 600-mile pole. 600-mile pole. Yeah, that's it.
Name again, Lewis. We're going to look at this Lewis in a few minutes. And I love this. Her qualifications and past experience, which I will look at that too, aren't not what they're making it out to be.
I don't even know who she is.
Include directing the best, most emotional episode of Ms. Marvel that nobody fucking watched. You know, it's like
I
Disney
hear there's
has
not
a
very
Star
many
Wars
viewers
problem,
of that.
like a big time Star Wars problem. Their audience is so fractured, it's ridiculous. Their shows on Disney Plus, like The Mandalorian, started out strong. You kept making changes to it, and they keep going, further and further, and they're dropping in ratings. And
Right.
Okay, sorry, we're just gonna pause this just to remind you, if you're liking what you see here, consider subscribing to the channel and ringing the bell for notifications. So many people who do stop by and view these are not a subscriber. Consider doing so. It helps you. It helps me. And if you like the video, please just click the little like button and consider dropping down in the comments and giving your opinion or saying hi. I'd really appreciate it. I do read all the comments and I try to respond to as many as I can. Thank you so much for your views, by the way.
and they're dropping in the viewership. People aren't watching these shows because they're tired of it. They don't like it. Don't even get me started on Willow. That's Lucasfilm also. They have a definite trajectory and it's not going upward. Okay. It's like most people, when they watch these movies anymore, the trajectory of certain things are going downward. And yeah, exactly what I meant.
Disney Star Wars makes me flaccid.
It's soft. Disney Star Wars is soft. It's no longer hard. Anyway, it's going downward and people are not supporting it. Toys aren't selling. Shows aren't doing well. Disney has, all these different groups trying to get seats on their board because the company is in trouble. And part of it's their mismanagement of classic and, high-end IP that they used to have, which Star Wars you put a good movie out and people would be there, in droves. Good being the caveat.
So the stuff that should auto make them money does not anymore because they're so mismanaged, and they double and triple down by doing the exact same things or even going worse in the wrong direction. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think Disney is, for some reason, trying to tank their own company? Because I honestly don't understand why you would do that, but I also honestly don't understand why they would do what they do and think there's any chance it's going to work. It's very, very bizarre to me. It's very bizarre.
Put bad ones out, they would still be there until they
they realized it was bad. Yeah. Then a week later, it fell off a cliff, like Last Jedi. But they've got a problem with Star Wars, and so their answer is to put this person in charge. And the first thing she does is go out there and stir up shit.
Have we not seen the South Park episode?
Yes.
Disney, put a chicken in, make her lame, make her gay. This is like this is a parody. Like if you were gonna.
And some of you are not South Park fans, and I get it. I have not seen this South Park episode. I haven't sat down and watched South Park since I sat down and watched the first 2 seasons all the way through in one sitting. I've only seen a few episodes here and there since then. But I'm a fan of the fact that they're into free speech and they will razz on anybody for anything. Whether or not you enjoy their humor, it's up to you. But if you haven't seen that, at least go find some clips of it somewhere and take a watch at the things they say about Kathleen Kennedy in that episode, because it's funny, but it's also spot on. Very, very topical. Very on time.
To say, hey, oh my God, guys, this is like a freaking Babylon Bee or Onion or a hard drive article or whatever. Like Disney decides to put she's a literal activist, right? She's like a director, activist.
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Journalist in charge of a Rey Skywalker movie after the disaster that was the sequel trilogy. After 5 to 8 years of unsold Rey action figures, we're going to put this woman in charge, and she's going to spout off about how much men need to get out of the way.
Yes, and she does. We're going to have clips of her talking about how much she just, she needs to learn men. I'm like, because that's going to go over so well. Because there's a stupid, shallow, sexist narrative. This sexist narrative that only men ever like Star Wars.
By the way, I'd like to point something out as soon as I remember what it was, because I stopped the video and instantly the thought went out of my head, which maybe is a good thing. Maybe it was a thought from Trent, and I shouldn't voice it. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but if I remember, I'll let you know later. Wow. No, it's not because I'm old. I've got ADHD. Well, I've got ADD, no H, but Hey, I lost the H out of my ADD. If anybody finds it, give it back. I could use the energy.
That women were never included in Star Wars until recent years, which is not true on so many levels. They keep spinning and doubling down on this. Then they have to trip over themselves with their double standards and double talk, which we're going to talk about in a minute here too. But before we get into this other part, we're gonna look at what she said. They're like, oh no, it's disingenuous because that's not what she said. So they're here talking about her movie.
Yeah.
And they said that people are mad because she talked about the announcement of her Rey Skywalker film, and no one wants to.
Wait. Right here, you see her quote. Hang on a second.
Mad because they're saying that disregards the women who previously worked in the Star Wars franchise, and they're saying they're taking it wildly out of context what she said. But they aren't. Because I'm going to show you. It came from a comment she had on CNN. And
all right, fine. We'll listen to it.
It was the reporter on CNN who made the comment about person of color to direct the Star Wars film. The argument in this thing is saying that she's not saying she's the first woman. She's just the first woman of color. That's what they're trying to argue. So it's disingenuous. She never says that. This person says that. So we're going to listen to this clip and take a look at it here.
She's also the first woman and the first person of color to direct a Star Wars film. It's set to be released in 2026. You can.
Hey, so that person says, this person, this director or whoever on camera here, news reporter or whatever, says that Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy is the first woman to direct a Star Wars film and the first woman of color. So, first of all, is Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy the first woman to direct a Star Wars film? Is Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy the first woman of color to direct a Star Wars film? 0 for 2. 0 for 2. And amazingly enough, all this stuff's on the internet. You can go look it up. You can find other women who have directed Star Wars and other women of color who have directed Star Wars in the past. So did you not, in your rush to hype this woman and make her the first something and jump on the bandwagon and celebrate her as the first something, did you not do your simple Googling homework? Or are you just forgetting about past accomplishments and dissing the other women and women of color who have done this same thing and absolutely dissing them just so you can jump up and down again? Like CNN. This is what you get from news media now. You don't get news, you get them pushing whatever narrative they want to, whether or not it's true. In this case, completely fucking false. Excuse me.
But then she gets to the when you get actually to the person in question, and they start talking to her.
Person in question.
Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy.
Charmaine Obaid.
So here's what she says.
You know, I'm very thrilled about the project because I think what we are about to create is something very special.
I want to point out there's Headland. There she is. And there's Kathleen Kennedy. There's 3.
Don't forget, Headland was the assistant to Harvey Weinstein. So she is very, very complicit in Hollywood to the abuse of females within the industry. Very, very much so. So if you think she cares about women somehow, try to figure that out. Try to figure that out and make it work together. She knew what Harvey Weinstein was doing to women in the industry for many, many years and did not and has not said a word about it.
3 women right there.
And who's at the right hand? Who's at the right hand of Kathleen Kennedy? Dave Filoni.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shocker. I said that for a while now.
Yeah.
We're in 2024 now, and I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
So she said woman. She never said woman of color. She said woman. It was.
Well, what? I mean, okay. I understand she's Middle Eastern, Pakistani, Iranian, something. I can't remember what she is. I'm sorry, but which country she's originally from. She is, I guess, a Canadian now. But she looks pretty white to me. I mean, she walked through, an Asian neighborhood in Vancouver, for instance. They think she's white. If she walked through a black neighborhood in Chicago, they think she's white, right? She walked through a Mexican American neighborhood in California, they think she's white. So, woman of color, like, I don't know, man. Where do these divisions, racial divisions and other divisions, even come from? Who keeps pushing them on us? Why do I why do I care if she is white, black, Asian, Mexican, Middle Eastern? Why do I care if she's from America, if she's from Canada, if she's from Mexico, if she's from Zimbabwe, if she's from Russia, if she's from Britain, if she's from Norway, if she's from China? Why does it matter? Are we all not human beings? Why do we always have to divide ourselves along? Well, she's a woman. Well, she's a woman of color. Well, she's a woman from the Middle East. Well, she identifies as this, and she stands up for that. And just people, just be human beings. Just be human beings. Who cares? Stop with the divisions. Stop introducing yourself by these are all the things I'm against. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. Just don't do it anymore.
It was the CNN anchor who said woman of color. The director herself did say it's about time we had a woman shape the Star Wars story. Except we've had women shaping the Star Wars story for years. Currently, Kathleen Kennedy is in charge at Lucasfilm. Love her or hate her, mostly people hate her.
Yeah.
Can't understand what the hell she's got on the Bob Iger and the board that they won't fire her ass. But it's completely run by a woman.
Yeah, and it's very obvious that it is because people were like, okay, we get it with Rey and look, whatever, right? But we get it with Rey in the Force Awakens, but then right after that we had Rogue One. We're like, and it's another woman, and we've got Disney Plus shows, and even the Disney Plus shows they're supposed to be.
Rogue One was a good movie. I think it could have been a better movie. I don't know. I necessarily am putting it at the same heights as some people do. I think the original trailers for the movie that had like some things that they cut out of the movie. I think some of those things should have been left in, but I think it was a good movie, good solid movie that told a good tale. It was interesting.
About the men or actually about the women.
Well, I was going to bring this up because right now Variety's like, Daisy Ridley is a new Star Wars director. It's about time we had a female filmmaker come forward and shape a galaxy far, far away. Yay. And they talk about this woman, how she's gonna, it's all been men. How dare he? But we had Deborah Chow in the shows, but not for films, right? This is Variety.
Shout out a movie still now. It says females.
Yesterday.
This
is Variety from 2019. Meet Victoria Mahoney, the first woman to direct a Star Wars film. She was a...
So they don't even fact check against their own stories. They basically don't check any facts because they don't care if they're right or not. They're just putting out articles. All they care is you're clicking on the article and they're getting paid by the advertisers on their webpage. That's all they fucking care about.
Woman of color. She's the first black woman to direct a Star Wars film.
And how come they're not talking about her?
Oh, look at that. So the first woman to be a director, she was a second director on The Rise of Skywalker, is also a black woman. Huh. But they've already thrown her under the bus and rolled the bus over her and completely ignored her and dissed her and made her accomplishment into nothing by re-awarding the same accomplishment to somebody else 4 years later. 5 years later? Yeah.
She's
do.
the
She
second
did
unit
something to
director.
piss him
She
off.
wasn't the first. She was a second unit director, so she
But
was
still.
a director.
But
So we have
still.
already had a director that is a woman of color on Star Wars films. We've had several directors on Star Wars films that were women of color, or that were just women in general. So we had first woman, a black woman to do so. We've had other women behind the camera that were directors of Star Wars. We have female directors in the galaxy far, far away, and they're talking about different people. And it's talking about Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah,
Now, grant
yeah.
this is a
think
TV
she's
show.
amazing.
It was on The Mandalorian. And then we
my
talked
God,
about
her. They talked about Gina Carano.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
And then they had, Deborah Chow, who worked on Mandalorian and also did, I think, Obi-Wan and stuff like that. So they were both working on the shows, which I would argue are longer, way longer than a movie. There's several episodes, and they end up being longer than a film. But they've had these women on before. But the whole idea that we've never had a woman working on as a director, and Variety's like, oh my God, guys, it's amazing. It's all been men. Variety also said, hey, hot damn, we had the first female black woman to direct Star Wars film in 2019.
Well, they memory hold her.
Yeah. Well, how quickly you forget. They don't mention her in this new article.
Yeah.
They just mention all the men. But then you guys were touting the win in 2019 about how you had the first female black director on a Star Wars film.
Oh, those chuds, they're going to be so angry that there's a black woman touching their Star Wars.
I know. And then they completely overstepped. Now, granted, she was an editor. She wasn't, but she shaped Star Wars, was Marshall Lucas.
Marshall Lucas, super important to Star Wars.
To forget.
Yeah.
We tend to forget Marshall Lewis because George Lucas refuses to talk about her, period. She was George Lucas's first wife. I think they had already split up when she actually kind of came back and agreed to. Had they split up yet? No, she had moved away from helping him with editing that she had worked on and allowed someone else to do the editing. And then the first cut of Star Wars was such a mess. She came back in and agreed to re-edit it real quickly because it was a mess and they didn't even want to fucking air it in theaters. It was so fucking bad. And she came in and fixed it and made it what it is today, and then walked away again. And George doesn't credit her or doesn't do anything, won't say anything nice against her, literally will not talk about her because they broke up, and George claims that she cheated on him. She says that didn't happen. But regardless, I mean, is George, pretty butthurt over the breakup with his first wife? Yes. And apparently he still is. George needs to grow up. George needs to bury the hatchet, move on. It's been many, 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 many years. Maybe he'll be a happier man if he just buries that hatchet, makes up with her, and sits down, has a nice talk with her, and then maybe, throw some credit her way because she did a lot for Star Wars. You would not have the Star Wars you know and love without her. It's a sad, sad situation. I like and respect George Lucas for what he did, but so much of the credit goes to his first wife, Marcia, and he gives her none and doesn't even mention her. Like she's just a dead thing to him, still to this day. And that is wrong. That is just wrong, wrong, wrong. You don't know the story of Marcia Lucas. Go find somewhere on the internet or elsewhere to look it up and get involved in it, because if you love Star Wars, you need to know about Marcia's contributions. You need to know. Find some videos of her. People have interviewed her before. Find some interviews with Marcia talking about what she did. It's good stuff.
Everybody forgets Marcia Lucas. Marcia Lucas was George's first wife, and she was responsible, as I understand it, many others understand it, for salvaging Star Wars, because the first cut of Star Wars was a slog.
Garbage.
It was not good.
Hot garbage.
It would have probably been a box office bomb, but she came in and she tightened it up, and she was kind of uncredited. And
She was
then
very, very good at editing.
Or whatever, but
Very,
she
very
disappeared
good.
out of the public eye.
One of the best editors out there at the time.
Well, here, it even said in here, this article from Collider, okay, that she won an Oscar. They said, however, to reduce Marcia Lucas's role in Star Wars universe like this feels wrong, because I guess they said she was part of a trio and all this other stuff. They said in reality, she's one of the main people all fans should thank for the sheer existence of Star Wars as we know and love. But women had nothing to do with Star Wars until current year. And thank God this other chick showing up to finally to be a director or to shape Star Wars, because no other women have ever. None of the women who wrote all the books, worked on the games, worked on the Lucasfilm Story Group. None of those other.
Marsha Lewis had plenty of editing experience before joining Star Wars. That's true. She edited other films and stuff, by the way. Marsha Lucas had plenty of editing. Ediing. Way to go, Variety. Way to go. Who are your editors?
Women ever have had, have shaped Star Wars like she's going to shape Star Wars. And then you're like, well, who is this woman?
Yeah, I was like, who is she? I don't know.
She's
who
a Pakistani Canadian journalist, filmmaker, and activist.
And highlight that activist part, because that's what's going to get.
What you want to know she's activist for, known for? Gender inequality against women.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't want to insult anyone from Pakistan. I don't know a lot about Pakistan, but it is possible that in Pakistan, for instance, there is more gender inequality. I'm not going to say there is. I'm just saying it's possible that that is an area, a region, a country that may have more gender inequality than we here in the Western worlds are used to. And that may be why she has studied this and is an activist for this. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with women standing up for women's rights, especially in places where they're more oppressed. I certainly don't have that. And again, I'm not saying Pakistan is a place for that. I'm just throwing this out there in general. I don't have an issue with that. I do have an issue with women who hate men or want to take down men or think, they need to be better than all men or those kind of things. I think you can fight for what's needed, but still be a relatable human being to everybody, and actually be part of the human race, not just be part of the female race, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I have no problem with women who want more equality in certain areas, because there are certain areas where women kind of fall behind. It is true. They don't get the respect or the love they deserve, or sometimes the pay they deserve, or whatever. That is true. No problem with that. So I'm not going to diss her for her studies and her activism without knowing directly what she's doing. But if she falls into the, I'm a lesbian and I'm a man hater, not that being a lesbian is wrong, but a lesbian man hater is wrong. Okay. You know what I'm saying? If she's like one of those, then yeah, I have an issue.
Oh God. So this literally is the worst case scenario for
Disney says they're going to walk back these bad choices and they're trying to go pivot back to profit. They're trying to save the company. But you put this person in charge of a movie and it would be okay. I wouldn't think anybody would care if they're, so much. If it wasn't, in fact, she's out there actively trying to stir up shit. Like, so listen to this clip. Are you ready for this one?
Yep. Do we got the audio on?
I believe so. Here we go.
Okay. Of activating a force for change, but also trying to permeate that patriarchy, that power.
Permeate the patriarchy.
Come on, Jon Stewart. I know you're smarter. Jon Stewart says stuff to make sure he doesn't get canceled because he's an older white dude.
He talks.
Or structure. And is that a part of the calculation of your art as well? And
blah, blah, blah. Hold on. So here we're going to see.
To that.
Oh, absolutely. I like to make men uncomfortable.
Right. So let's put this person in charge of the.
So wait, which men are you liking? I mean, if that's just a broad overarching statement, and again, they're pausing it, we're not hearing the whole entirety of the meaning. So I'm just going to throw that out there right away. If you're saying, I want to make men uncomfortable who are lording it over women or pushing women down, specific men, right? That's one thing. You're going to target them and make them uncomfortable by trying to raise those women up, and that makes them uncomfortable. That's fine. But if you're saying men in general, if you're saying just men, I like to make all men uncomfortable, then fuck you. Excuse my excuse my language and my finger, but that kind of shit ain't cool if that's what she's saying. I don't want to jump in and say I know what she's saying or what she's meaning, but I'm warning you, if that is the mentality of her, and I'm not saying it is, but if it is, these are the kinds of people Star Wars are putting, Disney is putting in charge of Star Wars projects. And women, are you on board with this stuff? Wouldn't you just like to see a regular, average, everyday woman, like a Bryce Dallas Howard type person? I mean, yes, she's Hollywood born. She's obviously Ron Howard's kid, right? But still, just a bright, intelligent woman who doesn't seem to have any things behind the scenes that she's doing, right? She just comes in and does her job and does it well. Wouldn't you rather see that and celebrate that than celebrate someone who possibly fights the inequality and hatred she sees by hating back? I'm just saying. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think, please. By the way, if you made it this far, congratulations. You are a trooper, and I do appreciate you. We're going to wrap this up really quick here, but don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell for notifications, all the good stuff. And once again, I really do appreciate your views.
The next Star Wars movie with Rey, who people don't like anyway.
No, they don't like Rey. They don't like the direction of Disney Star Wars. I mean, this.
I don't like Rey because Rey was not written well. Rey was not a well thought out character. None of the movies with Rey in them so far have been well thought out. They've been disjointed messes, and that comes from a company who has no idea what the hell they're doing. As I will say, I liked The Force Awakens, the movie. Did I know it was a copy and paste of many, many things from Star Wars? Yes, it definitely was. But for the most part, I really, really enjoyed The Force Awakens. I thought it was a good, fun movie. Now, liking The Force Awakens enough actually got me, and I didn't see the theater, but actually got me to turn up in the theater to see The Last Jedi. And The Last Jedi was pretty bad. It was pretty sad. It was a movie, but it was a very kind of depressing movie where the good guys couldn't do anything right. You know, it was like watching a Ben Stiller movie where he just bumbles everything he tries to do. Except at least those can be amusing to some people. I don't find the Ben Stiller movies amusing. I find them just very, very sad and self-reflective. But yeah, it was just a bad movie. And then, and then it got even worse when they tried to wrap the whole sequel up with the last. Yeah. Anyways, let's just move on. But yes, I don't like Daisy Ridley's character Rey just because it was not well thought out. And it kind of just wanted to steamroll over too many things and not explain them. And that anchors Star Wars fans because we like things rooted in the past. We like it to make sense in the Star Wars universe. Rey didn't.
This isn't even doubling down. This is just suicide.
This is stupid.
And they just got dragged by South Park. They've become a laughing stock for put a chick in it, make her lame, make her gay. Rey Skywalker, whatever the hell, Ray Palpatine, whatever the hell.
She's Ray Palpatine. She's not Ray Skywalker. I'm sorry.
Ray, whatever the hell her name is. She's unpopular. Her toys don't sell. Maybe they're only doing this so they can sell all those piles and piles of Ray action figures they've been sitting on.
I think we're going to leave it there, people. That's as far as I've listened to this point. We're about halfway through Clownfish TV's video. Like, again, check down below in the description for the link to the original video. Everybody, this is your warning that I believe Star Wars, I believe Disney is continuing to do the same thing with Star Wars that they've always done. Even though they come out and say, we're changing the way we do things, we're changing things because we want to make money. They don't appear to actually want to make any money, and they don't appear to want to make any changes at all. They're driving themselves down this one-lane blacktop highway in the dead of night with no lights, heading towards a cliff. And I mean, really, they're over the cliff already, and they're still going full speed. But I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they're doing it, but they're still doing it. And take the small bits of goodness you can get out of Star Wars. Here and there, there's some good things. But just be aware. Your spoonful of mashed potatoes has rat poison in it. They're trying to kill this franchise. They're trying to kill all the men who enjoy this franchise and take it away from them. Basically, that's what it seems to be. And I for the life of me, don't know why. I don't know why some people are so hateful and so bitter and so misguided as the people in charge of Disney appear to be. It's a conundrum. It's an epiphany. It's some other words that I don't understand. It's a kaleidoscope. It's a colostomy. That's what it is. It's a colostomy. It's a big old colostomy bag full to bursting, and it's pretty shitty. Everybody, from Miss Valley Entertainment News, my name is Dredd. We'll catch y'all next time. Bye bye.